Superman. World of Real did a breakdown on some of the stuff.
Let's hear
hearing about Superman going on behind the scenes. Jeff, you and I have kind of talked about some of this stuff, but there's some new things that I found in this report from his. I'm going to read it real quick, what Jordan wrote here. It says, tensions are high at Warner Brothers, where CEO David Zaslav and DC Studios head James Gunn and Peter Safran are scrutinizing every frame to avoid another franchise misfire. Sources close to the production say the film...
And I keep saying, this is not the different Warner Brothers. This is the same old Warner Brothers. Everyone's like, oh, Zaslav now. They're going to let James Gunn. If this does not meet what their expectations are,
they're putting a finger in the batter.
And even Aaron Fisher said, let James Gunn do what he's going to do. Even his bias and objectivity is completely out the window. I still like him.
He killed the kaiju.
I know, kill the kaiju. But he even said, let James Gunn, don't mess with his vision. They might be micro
his vision, though.
You don't know.
They're not.
RJ, I will say this. I'm not saying they are.
He's the CEO.
I am saying you don't know what's going on behind the scenes with people above James Gunn.
I'm sure that they
you don't know. They have a track record of this.
Everybody at the studio is looking at this movie with
this is where gun nuts have lost their minds. It's James Gunn. They're going to let him do whatever he wants because there's still the people above him.
But I'm saying, hold on. What I'm saying,
they may be asking him to do too many things to make adjustments. You don't know if everything was authentically from Gunn and from test screenings, or some were from executives above him. You do not know.
What I'm trying to say is that they realize how important this movie is.
Yes.
Everybody from the top down.
So they're all getting feedback from everyone to make sure they have the perfect movie.
Yes.
I get that.
I don't think Gunn is feeling pressured to change stuff.
Why is the history of every single director that's worked at Warner Brothers before Gunn had executives micromanage their project, but
they're not micromanaging. They're just giving feedback. That's it. That's a normal part of the process.
This is still Warner Brothers. And
if you really need to see any proof give that notes, and a lot of times they ignore them.
This is part of the process. So. The studio is going to give notes. It's their movie too.
Yeah, but Warner Brothers is going to Warner Brothers. The shit F's down the street. Those people. They've consistently done this. They did this to Tim Burton. They did this to Zack Snyder. They did this to Hamada when Hamada was in charge too. Still, when he's on his way out,
they did it to Spaghetti, Muschetti, whatever. They screwed his movie up so bad. The Flash.
Yes, and if you really need to think about Warner Brothers is still in charge of video games in NetherRealm. They've completely effed the new Mortal Kombat, and they really screwed that up. And
remember,
it was
it's still sold well.
James Wan was so pissed at
and they ended it.
Aquaman 2.
They ended it because it was time to end the game.
No, it was not time to end the game. Ed Boon had a whole
2 rounds of DLC.
They had a 3rd round and another expansion planned.
Why milk the game further?
What do you mean milk the game? That was the plan.
But why?
Because they didn't meet the expectations.
Mortal Kombat 11 only did 2 rounds of DLC.
Listen, Mortal Kombat 1 has sold much better than a lot of the fighting games out right now, but it still underperformed what they wanted, so they canceled the 3rd expansion and DLC characters.
Maybe you didn't need it.
Which may have included Art the Clown. They were thinking about Art the Clown for the 3rd expansion.
Okay, but you really
can I just
make a new game.
Can I just say that Corn Sweat looks so brooding.
Oh, no, I don't want to say
in this shot.
And they made Ed Boon make Mortal Kombat 1 after Mortal Kombat 11.
Which, yes, that is true. They did force him to do that because they wanted
multiverses,
Yes, because they wanted the money. Yes,
and Mortal Kombat sells better than Injustice, and look what it's done. It's hurt both franchises, and it's still Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is going to Warner Brothers. Okay, all right. Sorry, you got me on a tangent when you were like, "What do you mean it's fine?" I'm really mad about Mortal Kombat. They completely.
But that's not the movies.
Earlier test screenings, as Jeff said already, triggering a cascade of changes. Gunn's original cut apparently leaned heavier into the humor.
Calm down.
Something the execs weren't entirely.
Yeah, spray bottle. Hey. Yeah, the curl does it for me too. Actually, he's a very attractive man.